Hello, friends. You thought Mamma Mia Miss was over, but no, it's not. It's the 12 days of Mamma Mia Miss is over, but the Mamma Mia itself continues all the time, year round. We have the special bonus Boxing Day episode of our Mamma Mia Miss celebration and fundraiser. And I've got Dan Connell. You started Mamma Mia Miss with us, and you're closing it out. It's a nice Dan.
That's right.
Dan, which
The bookend of me shit talking Mamma Mia 1. And I'm about to praise the shit out of Mamma Mia 2. It's not flawless, but I think it's pretty close.
Yeah. That's true. That's how we ended our last conversation, was talking about how much you enjoyed this one. And you're right.
I tried to sell you on watching it. Yeah.
And you're right. It was a much more enjoyable experience, I think, top to bottom, all around.
Just ignoring the acting and the music, the technical level of things just is raised. The production value. They put care into those edits. They put care into the sound editing. The choreography serves the cinematography.
Right.
Like everything is so well thought out and clearly rehearsed, way more than it was in the first one, right? You can tell they rehearsed. Like that. I think that's the biggest difference here. Is like this feels like they've been ready for a while, whereas the first one was like, oh, let's take a few cuts and see what works.
Yeah, it feels much more purposeful. Like, intentional, everything that happens. But yeah, it's a much bigger world to get off the island and get to see everything. Yeah, I think the story itself is just more interesting to watch this young woman's adventure and life and stuff, as opposed to just watching people talk about it. So yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All my notes.
Where do I begin? Where do I begin?
Yeah, so this is your 17th time watching it? How many times?
You joke, but I think this is number 14.
Okay, yeah.
Some of those were half watches. So I would say in full, front to back, no distractions. I've watched it at least 10 times.
Yeah, this is one of those movies you take someone home on a first date, and you start watching it, and by the time you get halfway through, they're just so horny you don't get to finish it. I'm sure.
I wish that was the truth. In all honesty, it's when I'm multitasking with something and I forget to finish the movie. I wish it was that romantic. Now, every time I've shown someone this movie, we just watch the whole movie because we both love it. There's no interruption of this film if you're watching it with me in person. By myself, I'll interrupt all the time. If you're watching it, it's going to be the whole movie. Oh, man.
Yeah, don't try to get all horny on Dan while he's watching it. They'll slap your hands away.
Not this film. No, this film is sacred, and I'm not even joking at this point. I wish I was joking. Yeah, no, this is really fun to rewatch because of how much the craft is very apparent.
Yeah,
I'm just in awe of the craftsmanship of it. The editing and everything else is just so fun. They cared. I'm just in awe that they cared so much.
Was it the same person from the first one?
No. The first one was this is actually by a man named Ol Parker, who is known for other rom-coms. He recently directed Ticket to Paradise, starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts. This sort of classic, sort of 90s rom-com stuff. He also did, I think my favorite film of his is called Imagine Me and You. And it's this movie about this two heterosexual couples, and then they realize that they're gay for the other couple individually. So it's a bit of a bisexual rom-com in the early 2000s Britain, which is pretty wild to see. Starring Lena Headey, best known for playing Cersei Lannister in Game of Thrones. She's in the film, and so is what's his name? Oh shit! I'm just gonna talk about this movie now, but it's also I think it's Christmas themed, or it's Christmas Eve. 2005, Ol Parker, and Matthew Good was also in it as well. Matthew Good, best known in my book for playing Ozymandias in Watchmen. But my book is weird. He's better known for a lot of other things.
Okay.
I also love him for Stoker. Stoker's a fantastic film. Anyway, getting off topic. Mamma Mia 2. So this is your first time watching Mamma Mia 2. What, from the beginning, there's a clear change that's happened to their lives.
Yeah.
It's quite, I would say, shocking to get that opening. Yes. How would you describe that?
Yeah, like I was really surprised just to see that Sky and Sophia were still together, or Sophie were still together. Sophia's long dead.
Oh, yeah. No, Donna. Donna is dead. Donna.
Yeah, Donna's dead. Yeah, but Sophia, the Bill's great aunt.
Yeah. Oh. Yes, thank you. I've watched the movie multiple times, but I somehow missed that gag.
more about
Oh,
the
that's
story of
funny.
Mama you do, I think, the original one, which is
So Meryl Streep's character, I'm just
yeah,
gonna
that was
tell
fun.
it because it's like the setup is that her character's killed off between the movies. And not killed
Yeah,
off not killed off as in like, oh, it's a it's like she got sick and she died. And so they're all just,
right.
coming
It's not a
together again.
mystery. They're not
And
like looking for a killer or anything.
no, we don't know what happened or yeah, she's just
Right,
like, yeah, she's no longer with them.
right.
Um, and I think I've done so much research on this film. I've read every interview I can find, every article I could find about the making of this. And for years, they're trying to make this, but they didn't have
Uh,
an idea of where the story could go. Like they literally were
right,
stumped. Like, okay, everyone's together, they're a happy family.
right.
What's next that won't be just conflict within their relationships they want to preserve? What's going to
Mm,
happen? And they couldn't think of anything. And then I think it was one of the producers, or maybe it was Ol Parker. Their daughter he was explaining the issue, their conundrum to her, and she was like,
yeah.
"Why don't you just Godfather Part Two it?" Like it was her. She's actually credited for this,
Yeah.
I think, in the credits, for like a
Wow.
story advisor or something. Is literally the way they solved it was to make Godfather Part Two,
That's great.
where you do half prequel on the main character of the first film with some young amazing star who's going to really make it her own, and then you can contrast it with them dealing with the aftermath of what's happened since, of that person no longer being with them, and the parallels between their lives, between the daughter and her father, just like Al Pacino's with his father as well.
Right.
Just the parallel structure to this is just like it's literally incredibly cinematically
Yeah.
awesome.
It is
I've got
very
no better word
satisfying
for
to
that.
watch. Yeah.
Like the one scene where Sophie's party is going to collapse because of the storm, and she's trying to
Right.
hold up the
Yeah.
stuff by herself, and it contrasts with Lily James's Donna um, being
The
alone
horse.
down that
Yeah.
that road, and both being saved by versions of Sam that are meant to them. One, rescues on a motorcycle; the other one holds up there with her. Like it's just so
Yeah.
sweet seeing that. Like that's what it's like. It's like, have you seen the new Little Woman from 2019?
No, no, I haven't seen any of
Okay,
them.
the Little Women is usually taught.
Mm,
Every other time it's been done, it's very chronological. It's
right.
from the beginning to the end, very straightforward. Originally, it was split in two books as a part one and a part two, so they're very clearly delineated in
Right.
time. The new film by Greta Gerwig, she cut in the later parts with the earlier parts, so
Oh, okay.
you sort of root for their future while seeing their past.
Right.
Um, and that way you don't you understand one of the central romances, one character dates one sister first and marries the other later. And the other one he
Right.
marries was mean to the older sister. So watching that film from that like lens, you hate this one romance. But if you watch it knowing what sister's gonna end up with him, you actually end up rooting for it. It's
Right.
very bizarre.
Yeah. No, that's fun. I think it's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It but
It's
I,
a good choice. Yeah.
So that's
Interesting.
what I think works with this film, to bring it back to
Right.
Mamma Mia 2, is that the way that they parallel informs where the plot goes for both.
Right.
Like it's a real nice foil to what they're going for, which is,
Yeah.
ABBA things.
Right.
Like you lied to me. What will happen with this? Let's party.
Yeah.
Those are the overall
Well, they
vibes of
did.
Mamma
Yeah.
Mia, and they're interspersed perfectly. You can
Yeah.
divide them into different groups.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a good way of doing all of the flashback, like prequel kind of stuff, without it getting a lot of the real cringy prequel stuff that you get through that, like the references and things.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel so bad when it's also it's mirrored in the future. And kind of it feels like this is actually integral to the plot in some way.
Yeah, I mean, you know from watching Lost more than anybody that
That's true.
flashbacks
Yeah.
can be great and sometimes flashbacks can't be. And I literally earlier
Yeah.
today typed to someone that I think flashbacks are lazy writing. I literally
Oh
said
yeah.
those words earlier today. And if you're watching this, the person who I said it to, I stand by it. But there are exceptions, and I think this is an
Yeah.
exception where the flashbacks are, yeah, it's great.
Right. Yeah. Because we're seeing these two parallel stories, and the parallels in them feel good. It's not a way of explaining away the lazy writing in one part with what you're doing in the other. It's they're enhancing each other better. I feel like than in
Yeah.
than when it's done poorly. It's a tool like doing theater in the round, which we watched a few days ago. Me and Joe. Joe Louis, which is something that you're a theater man. You've watched
Yeah.
and been in a lot of theater. Like doing theater in the round, if you're not performing specifically to like take advantage of that, it gets really boring for like 3/4 of the audience because they're just looking at your back, and that kind of happens when we watch. Yeah, sometimes you have a lot
Yeah.
of opportunities, but then if you don't do it right, then it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of things.
So my question for you is there are clear, and I think I warned you about this, I don't remember, but there are clear retconning or rewriting of history here of what
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
happened
yeah.
with the dads, uh, as contrasted with Our Last Summer. How do you feel about
Mhm.
those changes? Do you wish that any of the original lore was accurate?
Um, no, I feel like it was good. I think I'd rather see it happen this way. I think for generally all of that stuff.
Versus the cartoony, like, "Oh, I was a hippie, blah, blah, blah," and I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"Oh, I
yeah,
was in a
yeah.
train, blah, blah, blah," like, that's not
I
as
didn't
fun.
want to see any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, also 1979. That was a weird time to be a hippie. So, like by then we're already
Yeah, it's
kind of over it.
kinda out of
It's also
it.
a weird time to
It's like
be a leather jacket headbanger, which she never calls him headbanger at any point, does she? I don't remember.
God, yeah, Harry Headbanger,
I think I
but that
missed
was the
that.
different he wasn't the hippie. It was
Right.
Bill who was the
Yeah,
hippie,
Bill was the
I think.
hippie, but Harry Headbanger
Yeah.
has always bothered me because like 1979 is too early for
Oh, yeah, they
hippies.
made him
And so he's
punk
not
rock
dressed or
looking. It was
yeah,
very, yeah, and I don't like that.
yeah. So it's strange, but it was fine. It was
So
good. I liked how they did it.
so did you know
It was fun. Yeah.
that so Mamma Mia 1 was the film came out in 2008, and this came out
Mhm.
exactly 10 years later in 2018, and they're thinking about making a
Ah.
3rd one. Do you think they should wait until it's 2028, like a before sunrise, before sunset kinda deal?
I mean, it would be very fun to see that. Um, it would be, it'd be poetic. But like, I don't know, like Cher's not going to be around another 5 years. Is she? I don't want to say that, but
Well, I mean, they can have characters die, they already established
that's true.
that.
They can just kill everyone off. It'll be about
Yeah.
Sophie's daughter.
Sophie will be 10 years old?
Yeah,
Yeah. Huh.
yeah. I mean, it would be nice to see. But yeah, I would be. I'll watch it.
So
Whatever happens.
right. So my other question for you is the one of the highlights of this film, one thing that this film does better than most other films that I've seen are the
Right.
transitions.
Oh,
Did you
those.
have any favorite transitions that you noticed?
I should have taken note of that.
Because they're
I don't
very seamless sometimes, but they're
remember.
also
Yeah.
pretty fancy.
Right. Um, I can't think of anything that really struck me enough to lodge itself in my memory.
There was the one that
No,
was transitioned to a painting and then to the restaurant. There was one that sort of went to the
that was cool.
sky.
Yeah.
Then the opening opens with a zoom in on the Greek sort of seaside, and then you realize it's part of a postcard.
Right. Yeah, I didn't
That's
even clock
oh
that. That's great though. I love
yeah,
it 'cause I have
that's the kind of
postcards.
stuff
I'm
I
a big
picked
fan
up
of
for rewatch,
postcards. That's what we did
right?
this year instead of Christmas cards. Because they overcharge you for Christmas cards, but you can go when you
Yeah.
live in Hawaii. You can go buy postcards for 25 cents each, and you buy a pack of Christmas stickers. Put Christmas stickers on the postcards, and the postcard stamps are cheaper than regular stamps. And then
I didn't know
you got
that.
your Christmas. Yeah, it's like 44 cents for a postcard stamp, but a regular stamp is like
I'll do
60
that
or
next
something.
year. That sounds great.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fun creative thing to do.
That's a good
It
life
saves you
hack.
money. Yeah, and people are excited to get it. More excited than a
Where do you get
regular
the
Christmas card.
postcards?
Um, like Walmart or wherever.
Oh, nice.
You just kind of look out or throughout the year when you see like, oh yeah, that's a good deal. There's like 3 for $1 or something. Just grab a few. I always try to
Hmm.
keep postcards on hand because that's also what I do for thank you cards when I send thank you cards. One of my
Ah,
favorite thank you cards to send to people. I go, hey, we'll use a postcard because people are, in Wisconsin are happier to get a postcard than just a thank you card. Yeah, that's my life hack. Take advantage of living in Hawaii. Do that. It's one of the good things about living in Hawaii. I can't name more than two, and that's one of them.
yeah.
One thing I did notice that I liked a lot was how they kept doing like the instrumental sort of transitions between scenes and songs, where they were using songs from the first one, so that they didn't have to re-sing every song. I didn't write down all
Yeah,
the ones.
Take a Chance on Me,
Yeah,
Chiquitita, Does Your Mother Know? And then some other stuff in the background I miss sometimes, and they're all connected so deeply to whatever character it's highlighted around or
Right.
whatever moment it's mirroring. Like, does your mother know for Christine Baranski? Because that was her number in the
Right.
first movie, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like the song of this of the best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Take a Chance on
Yeah.
Me with the wonderful Alexio subplot, the deep plot of Mamma Mia too.
Yeah. It's the fisherman with
An
the giant
undercurrent
arms.
plot. We're
Yeah.
reoccurring characters in across time.
Yeah. I who love that in because they have so many of those movies that are like Big Fish or any of
Mm.
those movies where it's like someone's like they're going on a big old journey and they're helping random people throughout it and then they all come out and help them at the end, that kind of thing. Like when
Oh, I love
those
that.
things happen,
Love Big
yeah,
Fish.
I always love to
Yeah.
see that kind of stuff. So like when they did that,
When
like
the
they
time
just
comes
helped this
together
guy,
and
yeah,
yeah,
and he helps them out when they need a boat and people to come to their big party.
it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah, I was having such a good time watching that. I didn't think about until like three-quarters of the way through. Like I'm not really sure what's happening on the island in modern times, other than there's a big party for some reason. I think they're reopening the hotel, I guess, but like it doesn't really matter why they're having the big party. But like the story on the island in modern times isn't as engaging as the flashback stuff that's going on with Donna. But it's still fun. You're
Hmm.
having a fun time. You just want to see everybody get back together and sing the songs and things. So it's you're having a good time the whole time. But yeah, I feel like watching this is how like ABBA fans felt watching Mamma Mia, of like getting excited to see the songs that they like and like
Oh,
learning about the
that
characters
because
and
you
things.
and the unknowing of which song is going to be next. Because like that must be something for you where you watched Mamma
Right.
Mia 12 days in a row.
Yeah.
And at some point, you got tired of the song order necessarily, right? Because you did well. There, you met what songs got the most grading on you over time?
um the thing is like the second act really starts to drag. It's like you get all of the story stuff in the first act of like, okay, all the dads here, and then the mom's there, and she doesn't want the dads to or whatever, and like, and then the dads all figure out, oh, wait, I'm actually a dad, and I have to do something about this right there at the end of the night. And you don't know what's gonna happen, and then it still goes like another 40 minutes before like anything really happens. There's a bunch of like duets. It's really one person singing while another person's just sitting there, and so it gets kind of it does get a little tedious watching it too many. There's like too many songs I think in the second act. And I always feel
Mm.
like when I'm watching it, I feel like SOS isn't necessary. I feel like our last summer also not necessary as a song, but
Our last summer is so unnecessary to Mamma Mia one. It really is.
I like the
Sorry,
scene.
stage show
I
and the
like
film.
seeing them
It's a nice scene, but
reconnect.
just because the scene is nice,
But
doesn't mean that you should include it.
right,
You know, I don't know.
yeah, because it doesn't really do anything for the plot, and it's already feeling long. But I think as a jukebox musical, they just got to stick those songs in there somehow, right?
Well, I think it should also be cut because the men couldn't sing very well.
Yeah, I think in other productions sometimes they can.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'm
Yeah,
glad they cast people who can sing in a musical for once.
yeah. You
Something
think they
the
would?
first film should have thought of.
They generally will. They generally try to do that when it's not
Yeah,
movie stars first and then singer second.
yeah.
That's not.
Speaking of, how impressive
Yeah,
is it that they got everyone back that they wanted to?
yeah, that's crazy.
Everyone except for Sophie's friends, which again we discussed
Yeah,
last time. You know, why would they?
yeah.
And the
But I mean,
bartender. But yeah,
they were definitely a highlight. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think
And
those
now
two,
it
and
comes
then
for a circle with the background of this being Mamma Mia too, despite you
yeah,
trying for a Mamma Mia background.
yeah. That's right. I've been staring at this all week long, or 2 weeks.
The classic
Yeah,
Dunkirk scene when the boats come to the shore, and you sing
and
"Dancing
everyone's
Queen,"
singing,
which is
dancing,
one of
queen,
the
and
best.
dancing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I like the Super Trooper use in this as well. The end credit
Oh yeah.
sequence, which again I kind of reiterate how amazing the oral history of it is. There's a whole article about the
Hmm.
making of it, and all of the past and future. There was first time meeting because they shot like the prequel and sequel stuff like separately. And so it was the first time of like Bill meeting Bill, Harry meeting Harry,
right.
and they both really got split up into pairs. Like, okay, devise something for you to do in like 30
Oh, fun.
seconds, like a little dance you do together. And
Right.
so they
Yeah.
all like
Have a moment.
basically in character together came up with some kind of thing, and they're like it was always so indicative of the character. Like for instance,
Right.
the Christine Baranski ones, they just kind of do like this, like a really like elegant sort of thing. The Julie Walters, the short best friend, she's kind of
Right.
clumsy, and they're clumsy together. Then you have Pierce and his young version, and Pierce accidentally flips the microphone upside down but laughs it off, and they're like, that was organic. It's just the little things. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. But now that I think about it, like they would have probably benefited if they had kind of done that earlier in the production so that it could kind of influence the characters, influence their portrayals of the characters for the younger guys.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they are
maybe.
very different.
Yeah.
But I like them they made their own. Like I
It'll
like
still work.
it wasn't like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Looper,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't.
So weird. You rewatch that.
Yeah. I can spoil this
Um,
about Glass Onion. Have you seen Glass Onion yet?
yeah. 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 Saw it in
And
the
this is a
theater.
very mild spoiler for anyone listening. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt has a cameo in every
Hmm.
single Ryan Johnson film, and you won't catch this until you stay for the credits. But he and mute this for 5 seconds. I'll put my hand
Right.
down when I'm done saying it. But spoiler alert: Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the voice of the hourly dong. The dong that happens. That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt's voice.
Nice.
All right. Anyway, just had to share that with you.
I didn't know that.
What a perfect cameo.
Yeah. Wait, does that mean that he was in the Star Wars one that he did?
He was in Star
Last
Wars. He
Jedi?
he played one of the
Oh.
aliens on the
Wow.
horse planet. I think he was the red one with like the yeah. If you look it
Right.
up, you
Okay.
can see his
Wow.
character.
Totally
And
sense.
in Knives Out one, he was the voice of a detective in the show that her sister was watching in the kitchen.
Wow. This one of those
Yeah,
movie trivia things I've never heard of, and it makes perfect sense. It's cool.
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to
I've got
talk
lots of
about
trivia
the
about this. Oh god.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I know the
No, go ahead.
when they were in the restaurant, like towards the beginning when it was ooh, she was with Harry. Yeah, I think she went with Harry to the restaurant, and they all had the little
Waterloo.
Napoleon costumes on. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's fun. They're just like Napoleon, and it's that's in Paris. That makes sense. And then they started playing water, and it was like, ah! I'm so glad because I really like that song, and it's a bummer in the first one. It's not even in the show itself. They just do it during the encore at the end. As like a
Oh,
bonus. I
interesting.
was
I
like,
was wondering.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's the part I walked out of the first film. Right. When it all breaks open with the water. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, it's even
Yeah.
after it's post credits or during the credits is when like it's just everyone just comes out in costumes and they're just dancing like on the stage. They do Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, and Waterloo, and that's the only time you hear Waterloo in the whole
Oh, I didn't
show.
realize that.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, this is a popular good song, so we should put it in somewhere, but we don't want to write something into the plot for why they would be there. But then they did in this,
Makes
so that
sense.
made me very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was such a nice little scene, and the dancers they got were so diverse. Like they had a dancer who was a wheelchair user, and like they
Yeah,
featured her pretty well, and it was just really cute. Yeah,
really cool. Let's see.
yeah, that was the most electric dance choreography, I would say.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did
it
a lot
was.
better. Yeah, on the dancing with this one, like that definitely was a priority. I tweeted at you after I was watching the first couple. I was like, I don't think they really care about dancing in Mamma Mia. It's really more about the songs, and that's kind of
And
been the through line for
yeah,
most of the productions. Yeah, but I don't know
but
if
then
it's
this
because
one
I'm
was all
watching
of a sudden
community
different. It was like,
theater.
hold up,
Yeah,
yeah, we actually care
right.
about the choreography now.
Yeah, let's really like do something
Yeah,
fun.
like my least favorite number is "I Kissed the Teacher," and
Hmm,
just in general, I hate that song. Least favorite to have a song.
it's
It's
weird.
so weird.
Yeah, and you are a
But they
teacher, so it
recontextualize
gotta
it.
make you feel weird.
But did you catch that they recontextualize it to that she kissed the teacher who's at her college and was a college professor and is a woman. That was
Oh,
the way it was reframed in this is that she's like bisexual and young and fancy
right.
free and like
Yeah,
yeah to like make it not as controversial. Luckily, but
right.
when I went to see Mamma Mia 2 in theaters, I went with my friend Terrace, who also does not like Mamma Mia 1. And we both went because it was a like advanced screening. Like we were seeing a few days before it was out. We're like, okay, we didn't like it,
Okay,
but let's just
cool.
watch it. And we're seeing
Right.
they were kind of like laughing at it, throughout to Kiss the Teacher. We're like, what is this shit? And then I
Yeah.
forget, I think it was Waterloo. Waterloo, we
Mm.
turned to each other and we were like, oh wait, this is actually good. Hold up. I think we were
Having a
wrong
good
about
time.
this. Like this is gonna rock. And then it continued to rock for the rest of the movie. We were totally in it. It was great. I think once you get to Waterloo, that's when you can fully like ease into like the track that the movie's taking you on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is a rough sort of adjustment to get used to the second one,
Right.
right? Like in the beginning, like just the tone, you're like, okay, where is this going? How is this gonna be? Yeah,
Yeah. And it definitely. Yeah, but that definitely sets the tone when you're watching Waterloo. Like, okay, this is what this movie is gonna be, and so if you're on board with this, then you're gonna have a good time. And I was into it.
yeah,
And I think the sound design and editing was a lot better in this one because I remember watching the first movie. It just felt like everyone's voice is weirdly ADR'd in. Like it felt like they were talking on a
yeah.
stage.
And this
But like
this is a pretty low quality
normal.
stream that we had too, so it's good
Mm.
that that stuck out as quick as quality. Yeah.
Yeah. So did notice that like Harry's character when they were they're doing their whole like dating and stuff like oh he's a closeted gay man. And this is him trying to figure out not knowing what his whole thing is. And so like that was an interesting thing for someone to be his early 20s on his solo trip around Europe to be like, yeah, this is going to be my time to experiment with girls, I guess, instead of like really discovering who I am, and on the other side of the spectrum. Like, oh, he really wasted his years doing that. He could have really discovered something about himself. I don't know. Just thinking about that.
Yeah, and it is interesting. They do it that way. Okay, I want to talk about the thing I hate about the movie. There's one thing I hate.
Yeah.
There's one thing I think it has a flaw. I can't always give it 5 stars. Do you know what moment is my like, oh, this movie sucks for a moment? There's one. Do you want to guess? It's a minor moment. It's not a number. It's a scene.
Right.
It's like it's a joke basically. I'll just tell you because I don't know if you're gonna
I
get
get
it.
it. Yeah. Right.
When Bill is reintroduced in the film in Stockholm, Sweden,
Oh,
he's
right.
accepting some award, and then it's revealed that he's fat now, and he's got a fat suit
Right.
on. It's very awkward to watch. You're like, oh no, they're going this
Yeah.
route. And then the gag is that it's his twin, and that
Right.
his twin is bad at accepting awards, and the joke is that he's going to be a bad award receiver.
Right.
But I do think also there's a bit of mean spirited, like, aha, you thought he was fat, like that kind of
Right.
like okay, like I don't know if we needed him to be in a
Yeah.
fat suit.
Right. So we didn't need that joke, and then when it doesn't really matter because it's not like he was so super hunky in the first one. You're like, oh, what? He got fat? Like,
Oh yeah. Which like
yeah.
let himself go. That's a funny like idea, but it's also like maybe not the fat suit.
Yeah. Right.
Because they even comment like in the when they reunite with the toll guard at the what is it called? What is he called? Yeah.
I don't know.
When he's like, oh, you haven't aged much at all. Like, oh, you have aged many years.
Customs, but like, do they have customs if you're going just to an island off of the mainland? Because they're still in Greece, going from Greece to Greece,
it was
right?
customs. It was customs. You're right.
Because he's checking like their
It was a port authority. Yeah.
Okay. Strange.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to do that if you're just going right off the coast there. But I don't know. I don't know how far they went. It was overnight, right? No, I don't know.
But I think that the fat suit was also a choice to offset how much Stellan Skarsgård had actually aged. To like sort of like almost like a door in the face technique where we open with like, oh, he's really aged a lot. He looks way different.
Yeah, I always call it
the
Wampa attack.
And he does like noticeably. I would say he's the most aged out of all the people in this film from the first one. Would you say it's accurate in terms of like he's the most visibly aged?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because all of the grown-ups, they've all aged, but a lot of them were already looking, older.
Yeah,
anyway,
and some have aged gracefully, like Julie Walters embracing the gray hair, Pierce Brosnan rocking the salt and pepper look.
Yeah, so
Colin
I think
Farrell
just because
looking like
Julie
exactly
Walters,
the same.
Yeah, we had the full gray hair, like that probably stuck out more. It made her seem older than she was in the first one, but like it all seemed like it's 10 years. It didn't seem crazy. I think Dominic Cooper probably looked the most like he had aged the most.
Oh, that's true because he's now in
Yeah,
his 30s or 40s.
right. So he didn't look like
Yeah,
a young boy anymore. He was like a man.
that's true. I didn't think
And
about
what
that
is it?
because I'm so used to
And
old Dominic Cooper.
yeah, yeah. So it's like the young one was the one that looked kind of weird. Yeah, I think Amanda
So can you
Seyfried
believe?
actually went in the very first scene. I didn't recognize it as her because I was like, wait, is this? She looks like Amanda Seyfried, but I don't know if this is supposed to be young Donna or what's going on yet. Like just in that first few shots, it took me a second to even like recognize her. I think it's the way her hair was done or something. I just didn't recognize her, and I was trying to figure out who this person is. So it was all. It took me a second, but then once you see her moving around and stuff, it's like okay, yeah, I know who this is. Anyways, what were you saying?
Amanda Seyfried. One thing I shared in the chat during the film. Amanda
Yeah,
Seyfried gave birth just a few months before the filming began of this.
yeah, and
Isn't
just
that
straight back
crazy?
to work. Yeah,
Yeah,
work
like
dancing and
that's
singing and
absolutely
doing the whole
wild.
thing. Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
reuniting with her ex boyfriend of a couple of years from way back
Right.
when they filmed the first movie.
It's got to be weird. But I mean, it's a very Mamma Mia thing, right?
Right, and I think there's other like films where they reunite with an ex of theirs, and that's always like a fun dynamic to see.
Yeah. And I just think about like in the first Mamma Mia, like the idea that like at your daughter's wedding, just three people that you hooked up with in 1 week 20 years ago are now here. Like that's fucking
Dot dot
insane.
dot.
So yeah, having to do that again. Just be like, oh yeah, it's been 10 years, and now
Here we go again.
your ex boyfriend's here, and we just had a baby. I'm gonna feel kind of weird, but you know, it's just life. Yeah. What am I doing? Bill had a boat. Yeah, of course he's had a boat.
Bill and a
Name of the
boat. Best
game.
number in the movie.
Yeah. Name
Name
of
of
the
the game. Oh yeah,
game.
the oranges. Have I explained the origins yet on the pod? So
No.
the visual motif that was I think popularized in Godfather. I don't think Godfather originally did, but they definitely capitalized on it.
Yeah,
Was
that's why I've
that
only heard of it.
when
It's from Godfather.
when oranges were in a scene, visibly or whatever, it like basically it was right before a very tragic end to something, whether it be a
Hmm.
death or something else. So this film, oranges pop up once, and it's
Right.
when Lily James is goofing around. She's wearing a beautiful orange dress, and she's going through the garden and playing with goats, and grabs oranges from the tree and comes back to make her
Yeah.
beautiful
She wasn't playing
boyfriend a
with that ghost.
wonderful breakfast
Yeah.
smoothie. And one of the oranges falls, and then she sees in a drawer and pulls it open. What do we see but a picture of Sam married to a woman
Yeah.
or engaged to a woman, right?
Right.
Yeah. Man, and so like the oranges drop, like just
Yeah.
like that visual motif is like that's filmmaking. Like that they're not fucking around with this movie. Like they put a lot of thought and care into everything in this film. And they didn't need to. This didn't need to be good. This didn't need to be great. The movie was already gonna sell tickets
Right.
based on the concept alone. Like you didn't need to make it anything but like just just easy paycheck. But they didn't take it as an easy paycheck.
Yeah.
They took it as a challenge, David. They took it as a challenge, and they tried to make the best Mamma
Yeah.
Mia movie they possibly could. I think they're damn near it.
Yeah, and they did. And you know, it's like you said, took their inspiration from The Godfather 2, which a lot of people think is like one of the best movies ever made. So it's just you can't not have
Yeah.
a good thing that it's going to elevate whatever you're doing when you're trying to do something, basing it on something really good. Right?
Hmm.
I wonder if anyone's done like a shot for shot kind of comparison between that scene and like the scene where it was his dad gets shot. When I never saw Godfather 2. I only know about memes and
I've
people's
seen
analysis of it.
Godfather chronologically. I have not seen it
Okay.
as the original film. I watched it with the prequel stuff dedicated first. It was awful. I hated it.
No.
I'm very
Weird.
much want to try it again, watching Godfather 2 like in its original edit. Otherwise, it was so boring
Yeah.
in the prequel stuff. I was like so over. Like,
No.
okay, let's. Robert De Niro's great. Let's move on, please. Yeah.
That's strange. It's like when you watch Memento, but it's called cut together into just chronological order. I think that's out there. I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
Or watching Arrested Development, but the version now where it's like intercut instead of like the isolated episodes for
Oh,
season
no, I haven't
4.
seen that.
Oh man, I'm a defender of season 4, but what makes
Yeah.
it people criticize it because every episode was isolated to a character, so it wasn't cutting between.
Right. Oh, that's
Which,
right. Yeah. I only watched
yeah.
like half of that season. Yeah.
Oh man,
Never got
the
any
George Michael
revisit it.
plots were my favorite.
Those are always
When
fun.
when Michael has a feud with her teenage adult son's roommate, P Dog, for the for the bottom bunk.
That's great.
Incredible. When he says to P Dog, "You ever been in a plane, you piece of shit?" Brilliant.
Yeah, I need to go back. Put that back on my list. That's something I got to rewatch this year. Arrested Development. Put that
Just
on
season
my
4. Did you know
New Year's
season 5?
resolution yet.
Season 5 is awful. No one I've ever
Oh.
talked to loves it. Like everyone who's expressed that they watched it regret it as a deeply.
So this is something I wanted to talk about in some of the international versions of Mamma Mia I watched, specifically in Russia and Brazil, where I saw the Russian one first a few days before I watched the Brazilian one. And I thought they made some cool artistic choices, like with the set and some of the stuff that they were doing. But eat real quick. But it turned out that what they were doing with the Russians, the Russian version, they did it also in the Brazilian version. I think that they have like a standard version they send to people, like internationally, like here, this is what you should do and what you should make your set look like and stuff. But in that they have like a oh, I had you muted. I did. I thought you
Sorry
were
about
getting ice.
that.
No bad. It's all good.
No, I was getting water.
Oh, okay.
Good. You mean like production design or costumes or the set? Like, what do you mean exactly in terms of
There's
like
the
their
set
guide?
and the yes, the set mostly the set. Like it's like
I mean
it's
that's
two piece. Hey, Johnny Sparkles, how's it going, buddy?
it's pretty evening. It's pretty standard for play licensing to require
Right.
certain things to be
Okay.
shared. Like for instance, when I did Avenue Q, they shipped in the puppets from Pennsylvania to Hawaii. Like the
Ah,
official like puppets that they use
right. They don't
for
want you
community
making
theater.
your
Like
own crappy puppets.
because part of getting the rights is them thinking that it won't affect the image of their show, right? Making sure that there's some
Right.
kind of quality control to what it is. They have to send in a recording of the performance to the licensing, right?
Mm.
That kind of deal.
But one
Yeah.
of the things that they had, and Johnny Sparkles knows this because he watched some of this with me. That was the Russian one. No, I just showed him some of the shots of the Russian one. So I don't know if he saw this one and the one we watched. But they have one character who's like this little babushka lady who's wearing like all black and she's like hunched over and just like in the background. I'm like, she opens the door a couple of times, I think. And then that's it. She doesn't really do anything. She doesn't sing or dance or do anything. She's just kind of there. But I think in this, she might be the old lady that owns the bar. Johnny Sparkle says puppets are only called puppets in Pennsylvania. Michigan puppets are Muppets. I always wonder what the difference between Muppets and puppets were, and I guess that's it. And that
One
they're
is a
from
slur. Try and guess which one.
right. It's hard to tell. Where are you going to find more people that
Don't
throwing around slurs?
make
Pennsylvania or Michigan?
make sure you don't say it with the hard T.
Yeah, it's a little babushka lady. I think it might have been like she's embodied. Her spirit, at least, is embodied in the little old lady that owns the bar, whose son is the band leader.
Does your mother know?
So was that?
Oh.
Yeah. I just really like that character. And I wonder if that's the babushka lady, but I might be the only person who recognizes her. I don't know.
Oh, like the oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't think there's a canonical connection there. I'm just doing that on my own. It's my own head canon. But like I like that lady. I didn't catch her name. Is that supposed to be Sophia, the Bill's great aunt that died and left her all the money? Or did we just not see her? That's kind of weird. I don't know. Also, it's Donna's whole story about, she's out on her own. She's making her way through Greece and all this stuff, and she's gonna settle down here on this island and all these things. Does that seem less impressive when you see that her mom is super rich and has like private helicopters and stuff? Like, oh, you're one of those people.
Oh,
Like you
yeah,
were.
exactly. The I bought my own house and here's how I did it. And then the article would be
Yeah,
like, received a small loan of $300,000 from her wealthy grandfather who runs
yeah,
the New York Times. You know, like,
yeah. This is a less inspiring story now.
yeah. Whenever
But
someone
yeah,
like buys a house, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, Mr. Moneybags, all right,
but
Harry Headbanger.
yeah, that was interesting. We got to see Harry Headbanger in Japan doing
That's right,
a
he was in
contract
Japan, wasn't
negotiation.
he?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Heavy Metal is in the
touring
Mamma Mia.
Japan.
Heavy
Yeah.
Metal,
So
the cartoon. I think Sparkle says
I'm
Heavy
pretty
Metal is in the
sure
Mamma Mia.
I thought it was a reference to Harry Headbanger.
Ah, yeah. I mean, maybe that's why. That's why they call him Headbanger
Yeah,
because he's constantly watching that
yeah.
Heavy Metal cartoon. I've never seen it, but I know that it's very
He's not straight edge though. He's gay edge. Sorry, that was dumb. There we go.
yeah. But yeah, Cher. Um,
You didn't
so
see
I knew
Cher
Cher
coming,
was
did
gonna
you?
be in this.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, only because I had watched a video, trying to look up like Mamma Mia conspiracy theory videos. I found something was saying it was a conspiracy theory, but it was really just a fan theory that the guy had before Mamma Mia Here We Go Again came out. Was that he saw that Cher is gonna be in this as like the grandma, or as Donna's mother.
Oh,
But which we all forget is that at the end of maybe Mamma Mia, Mama Minor Threat. Thank you, Sparkles. It's very funny. Straight edge, straight gay edge, straight edge, straight edge. Minor Threat, obviously, very famous originators of the straight edge movement. But mashed up with Mamma Mia. What was I say? Cher is the mom. In the first Mamma Mia movie, at some point, I can't remember the end of which number it was, but Donna, she's laying on, she's exhausted, laying on her bed, going, "Oh man, someone up there has got it out for me, and like is mad at me or something, trying to make my life harder." But it's probably my mom. And it was like a throwaway joke, but that implies that her mom was dead, right? Like someone up there, like is trying to give me a hard time. But then her mom's alive. Her mom outlived her. Her mom is Cher, but she didn't know that. So either her mom faked her death, or is this the singing ghost that we were talking about? Or is it just a
right. Who
retcon
knows?
that nobody was paying attention to that single line when they were writing it?
It was a retcon, but I think also like it's she's dead to her kind of deal. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Like it's
she
easier
could have
to
just been
just stand in
pointing
the way.
up at her mom's private helicopter, or maybe one of the satellites she owns or something.
Yeah, she's somewhere on space. She's on the Virgin Airlines right now.
It's on that SpaceX flight flying over, I can see.
She's at the space station again. If I can turn back time.
It's true. She's timeless. She when she first did come up the stairs and get the get her grand entrance, she looks so much like Lady Gaga from around that time period that I wasn't sure that it was actually Cher in that moment. Like, wait, is that Cher or Lady Gaga? Even though she's 50 years older than Lady Gaga is. Still very yeah. They got very similar styles, hairstyle and everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's great to see her and Andy Garcia there. Still wasn't sure what his purpose was on the island before Cher showed up, other than to be.
Yeah,
I
I
felt
was
like a
like,
fourth
okay,
dad.
that's why he's here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
you
going
mentioned
on?
that in the chat. It was
Yeah,
interesting. It was such a left field sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause see, this old man here, just like comforting and supporting me, and me out like a dad or a granddad.
That's right. But did you
Yeah.
okay, here's another issue, is that Cher and Meryl Streep are very close in age.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's very funny for, like, Cher to be playing Meryl Streep's mom, you know?
Right.
But I think Meryl Streep looks young, so I think that's how it would fit.
Yeah, I would have thought that she was probably 10, 15 years younger than.
Mm.
I feel like they're closer in age maybe than Cher and Andy Garcia. I feel like Andy Garcia is significantly younger than she.
Oh yeah, let me get just Meryl Streep. Let's see. Meryl Streep is 73.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't know that.
She would have been in like 68 when they filmed this, right? And then
Right.
Andy Garcia. Andy Garcia is only 66. So actually, he was
Yeah.
also in his 60s when they filmed
Oh,
this.
okay.
Okay, that's pretty
Okay.
close. And let's look up Cher real quick. Cher is 76 years old now. So she was in her early
Okay.
70s when they filmed this.
Yeah.
70,
Okay.
71. So
Right.
just a
So
few
only
years
like
older than Meryl, who's a
yeah,
few years
not too
older
bad.
than Andy
Okay.
Garcia. Yeah, that's not bad
Yeah,
at all.
that's not bad.
And Christine Baranski. Christine Baranski is 70, so she was also in her 60s.
Oh wow.
And then Julie Walters. I'm just looking at all the ages right now. Julie Walters is 72, so she was also in
Yeah.
her late 60s. And then we have Pierce Brosnan,
Oh yeah.
who is
Ooh, yeah,
69.
really
Nice.
cute.
And
Oh,
he was
nice.
in his early mid 60s. Then we have
Wow.
Colin Firth, who is 62.
Early.
Oh, he's quite
Okay.
young. So he was in his
Oh, he was younger
50s
than
in the
my
first
dad.
film.
Right
That's
on
why he
my
doesn't
dad.
look so old. And Stellan
Yeah.
Skarsgård. Stellan is 71. I would never have
Oh.
guessed.
Yeah, that doesn't
And
make
he would
good
have
for
been
71.
his late 60s is what he would
Yeah.
be for the first
I'm
film. I'm
surprised we
sorry,
didn't
for
get to
the
see
second.
his naked butt in this because he usually likes to get naked whenever he
He had a
can.
great butt in the first one.
Yeah.
He had a really great
Johnny
butt in the
Sparkles is
first movie.
currently writing a crossover play called Mermaids Mia, which I know it's a joke, but if you write it, we'll do a live reading of it on the stream. You write
Absolutely.
any script, I will read it.
Interesting question from Twitch.
Yeah. Favorite meat and what seasonings do you like to use on it? I guess I don't know. Like meat to cook? I would say.
I have a boring answer, but I'm gonna go with it. I really, really love to make burgers on Hawaiian buns, and
Okay.
I kind of
Nice.
fuck with whatever sauce I got going on, but I make sure to get Trader Joe's secret sauce, special sauce, sorry, and then I mail it to myself in Hawaii, and then I use whatever Trader Joe's spices I can find
Right.
in a smorgasbord of spice.
There's special
I'm
sauce.
not
What
a
is
very
that
good cook.
kind of? What's the
It's
flavor
just
profile
like
of?
a burger sauce. It's like I would say, garlic aioli with a, like, bit
Oh,
of a
okay.
mustard tinge kind of deal. Like, it's basically a
Oh, okay.
combination of, like, the secret sauces of most burger places.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly good homemade burgers are the best. But yeah, I would totally say I think I've gotten into cooking chicken thighs a lot more recently because I've learned watching I think Nicole Kidman
Interesting, okay.
is that because like the fat content of chicken thighs is like so like you can't really overcook them. You can just keep cooking them forever, so you don't have to be precious when you're cooking chicken thighs. You can kind of do whatever you want. Yeah, we support LGBTQ
Yeah,
plus people. Yeah,
I'm
about it.
non-binary bisexual myself and, always supporting, and I do wish
Yeah.
that these movies were more gay, I will say that, as much as Harry does get his time, I don't think any of well, okay, so young Donna is coded as bi, and almost explicitly said that bi is their teacher.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're gonna get. No, don't kick you,
Yeah.
man. That's not cool.
Bye.
They block this block.
Cheese is completely necessary in a high-quality burger. Unnecessary a lot of, I would say, toppings are unnecessary for burgers. But they all add their own flavor.
Yeah. So I had to jump into Twitch to do that. All right, cool. Yeah. Cheese is completely unnecessary in a high quality burger. Really, Spark? I guess it depends on the sauce. Because if it's good mayonnaise sauce on a burger, I can go without the cheese. Or if like the teriyaki burger.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, yeah, I don't do the.
That is something missing from this film.
Need
There's no
cheese.
food in this film. There's no food in Mamma
Oh
Mia
yeah.
2. In fact, pretty light in the drinks as well, except for, like, oh, okay, they drink quite a lot. But Yeah, I take that back. Even the restaurant, I would say, what do you remember what food they were having? Because I can't remember what food they were having. Did they
No, I
have
don't
food
even
in front of
know
them?
if we saw it. I don't know if they
Yeah.
even ordered food. Yeah, this is not a.
Did
They
everyone else
they, they
have food?
traded out any sort of food
It's a restaurant.
pornness of this for better dancing, which is nice. I forgot we didn't mention the whole meet cute thing at the French hotel where she's snuck behind the the desk for some reason. I forgot why, but then he.
That is a cute meet cute because she basically went to check in, no one's there. She went to get her own key, and that's when he came down.
That's right.
Because she's not like the other girls. Like
Yeah, she yeah, but when Harry was doing his broken French trying to explain how he got locked out of his room, it was very funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was not unlike how I think my French would be if I had to try to explain something to somebody in French. Yeah.
I commented during the movie that like I studied French for like 7 years, and I've done Duolingo for like the past year in French, and I'm so bad at speaking it. Like I can do all the Duolingo games like magic, like that. Like my reading comprehension for French, fantastic. Writing,
Yeah.
okay. Speaking, forget about it. Like I'm not gonna get through a whole sentence without sounding like I just learned the language like last year. It's so
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah, I can like read signs and stuff and feel pretty good about myself. Then like as soon as somebody says something, it's like, oh, I don't know. So Sparkles missed our retort, but when I make a good house burger, the only ingredients I always use garlic, salt, pepper, raw onions, and mama mayo. Yeah, I mean that's
Solid.
good,
Mama
simple,
mayo.
easy.
Very solid. I think those
Yeah.
are standard. But my retort is that not all ingredients aren't always necessary. You can go without and get a whole new kick to it. I don't think I have a strong choice. I have a strong opinion here. I don't think that pickles should be default in a burger, right?
Oh.
I'm not entirely anti pickle. I think pickle can have its place, but when you take a pickle out of something, which is often when it's
Hmm.
default, you ask for pickles and they take it out of already a pre-made burger sometimes.
Oh.
You can't once the bagel is in something, you can't take it out. Like, it's always going to be a part of that meal. It's going to be soaked into the bread. It's gonna be soaked into the meat. Like,
Right.
you can't just remove a pickle to remove the flavor of the pickle. Like, that's the
Right.
most annoying thing for me is that's a default topping at, like, almost every burger place on earth unless you get, like, trying to get the cheapest possible burger at McDonald's or something, and then just, like, just a patty. Like,
Yeah. Then yeah.
did you see this weekend? Someone did an experiment. I think it was Cyanide and Happiness guy.
Oh, I
He
think
did
I've
an
seen that.
experiment where he ordered a custom burger, and he was like, "No buns, no meat, no lettuce, like no anything." And so it
Right.
came out with just a wrapper with nothing in it, and it's like
Oh,
perfect.
nothing
That's
burger.
what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I ordered.
Wait, Sparkle says pickles should not be default, but I'd say half the time I use them. But it has to be a sliced spear. Pickled chips on a burger can go straight at what? You don't like sliced pickled chips on your burger?
I think pickle spear
Oh,
is a very the sliced spear is a good alternative because you can remove it pretty safely, or you can really go to town on it. You have that
yeah.
option.
Or
Yeah,
someone can just take it off your plate if they want to. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll
Which is
never
why the
say
old
no
time.
to pickle spear on the side, but I usually won't say no to pickles on
Yeah,
the burger either.
yeah. Good question though, Johnny. That was definitely not a question I'm used to be asking. Is burgers,
Yeah, we're gonna have
meat.
a burger stream one of these days. A burger cook off for
Yeah.
the Hawaii Food
Speaking of
Bank
meat,
fundraiser time. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Wawa tomorrow because I'm on the East Coast and
Oh,
Wawa has fantastic food. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
yeah. I went in Maryland on your suggestion and had a I don't even know, was a turkey sub or something. It was very good. Way better than anything I was ever expecting to get from a gas station.
Yeah, it's like when you go to 7-Eleven Hawaii, you're like, wait a second, this is actually not bad. Like this
Yeah.
Musubi is decent. I think it's
Yeah.
a similar kind of like, huh? And did you know that Wawa had touchscreen controls way back in the mid
Yeah.
2000s?
Oh,
Like they were
really?
one of the
No.
first places to like incorporate it. So like it seems like
Ah.
standard now, but like they were the pioneers. Like I was running a touchscreen in 2008.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Don't speak to anybody. Just like click, click, click.
Yeah. And it's like it's not a super simple menu like it is at McDonald's. Like there's a lot of options with those subs and things. Yeah,
Yeah,
sweet
and
pickles
the coffee
sparkles.
there is
You're
great.
right. Sweet pickles, I don't think are good for anything except relish.
No,
I'm good with sweet relish, but that's pretty much the only time I can eat a sweet pickle.
that's the most pickle can be. Just to have a good time. Yeah, I'm with you on
Yeah,
that. Ooh.
yeah. If I bite into a pickle and it turns out to be a sweet pickle, I will spit it out. There's not many foods I'll do that to, but that's one of them. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna finish this.
That's right. I do have to say, I only have about 5 minutes of energy left in me. Just a
Oh yeah, it
heads
is
up. It is
late night for you.
a little bit for
So
me, and as much as I love this movie, I don't have much brain power left to discuss this film. But I do want to encourage everyone to donate to the Hawaii Food Bank
yeah, yeah,
right
yeah.
below at GoFundMe. 12 Days of Mama Miamas, already more than $100 raised, which is
Okay.
fantastic. Food Bank needs a lot of help right now, especially with the holidays. Not everyone is able to have a family to get food, or even families who are trying to feed themselves. Yeah, it's dicey. So please, oh wow, past 150, good job. That's
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah. And
Uh,
we did get one donation that went to the Spider-Thon um, fundraiser because I had my chat bot all screwed up the other day. So we're actually $10 over that with that 152. We're actually at
ah,
162.
excellent, 162. That's pretty good. That definitely does a lot to help. I like you to make these a fundraiser as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to read some of my haikus for this film because I've
Oh
seen this
yes.
movie
Always need to see
many
those.
times, and I've
Yes.
written many haikus. So I'm just going to read them all in order here. There are now, I think, at least 17. Let's see. Are you ready for this?
Uh,
I first watched this in 2018. So this is my review from the 16th of July, 2018. 4 stars. Good news, everyone. Pierce Brosnan only sings once, just 30 seconds. That's the first
yeah, I
haiku.
didn't even
Second
catch it.
haiku, right? Second haiku.
Yeah.
Hated the first one, but could not resist the charm of the little things. And then haiku number 3. The MVPs are Cher singing, Walter's acting, Lily James, full stop. I don't know who Walter is. Anyway,
Yeah, who's Walter?
I don't know. The next time I watched, oh,
Cool.
Julie Walters. That's who it was.
Oh yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
Next time I watched it was 2 years later in 2020. I was like, "How is this so good? The transitions, the casting, how is this so good?" 4.5 stars. Then again, 2020, a few months later, rewarding a rewatch. Perfect casting as a whole. Take a chance on this. Give it 5 stars. And then a couple months later, another 5 stars. Perfectly made film. Transitions, choreo, perfect. Would die for Rosie, who is Julie Walters' character.
Yeah.
Then in 2021, I started my March of Mia, which is where I watched it many times in the
Ooh.
same month. Missed the start of it and the last day of
Yeah.
February.
Love a themed
Highlight
month.
of the watch. Highlight of the watch. The actor who plays young Bill, Josh Dillon's so hot. Second haiku for this review. Full of fun reveals, but wish
Right.
Dominic Cooper stayed the fuck at home. Number 3,
Yeah.
Lily James, my heart can only love her so much, and all her outfits. All right,
Nice.
haiku number 4. I've got so many of these, David. Hope you're ready. This was my 5th watch, and I'll be watching it
Okay.
more. Made me cry again. All right, then
Well,
make
I
sure you
didn't. When you
listen.
said this is my fifth watch, I didn't realize that was part of the haiku. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And then haiku number 5 for this one
Yeah.
review. Make sure you listen to the instrumental score. Enhances the watch. Okay,
Yeah.
it's gonna keep going. Are you ready for more haikus?
On all of them.
2nd of March, 2021. Not a 5-star film, but a 5-star film for me. Stay for post credits. 5 stars.
Nice.
3rd of March, 2021. Here I go again. Comfort watch for shitty week. This fights depression. 5 stars. 5th of March, 2021. Could write an essay about this wonderful film, but I write haikus. Number 2 of that same review. Choreography is absolutely perfect. So is the casting. Haiku number 3 for this review. My 4th watch this week, and I'll watch it even more. Here I go again.
Nice.
And then a couple weeks later, March 2021, bright, warm, and wholesome. It's quintessential comfort to crush on young Bill. Oh God, there's so many more. All right, here comes March 17, 2021. Killer transitions, making this the comfort watch. Here I go
Mm.
again. And then a month later, in June 2021, full of summer vibes, full of casual trysts, sex, full of sentiment.
Mm.
And we get to the final three watches, the 3 ones from this year. In April, I watched it on 28th of April, 2022, and I said, God tier transitions, meticulous and joyful. Here I go again. And then a few months later, in July 2022, I say, pure serotonin. Plug that shit into my veins. Great with wine and carbs. And
Wine and
finally, we
carbs.
get to
Perfect.
today. We get
Yeah.
to my
Oh,
20th-ish haiku
yeah.
of this film. I didn't write all
This
these
is
in
the
isolated. I don't remember what I wrote before.
ah,
And my
this
haiku
is a
is,
fresh haiku. This is still warm.
right after the press,
Yeah.
fucking iconic, monosyllabic pop star drops down from the sky. 5 stars.
That's right. She does come right out of the sky. It's a real Deus Ex Machina kind of thing.
It's
That's
absolute
great.
perfection.
So did you
Thanks
clock
for
how many
listening to
times
my
you said
haikus.
you used "Here I Go Again" as the one of your lines in that?
And again, I write these haiku isolated. I don't remember what I wrote last time,
Yeah.
so that's just here I
That's
go
just
again.
yeah. It's what you
Yeah,
feel in your heart. It must be true if you keep saying it. Yeah.
that's right.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that, well, last thing I want to talk about. Yeah, the post credit scene, very funny. The take a chance on me thing.
And the credits scene itself. And I have a list on
Yeah.
Letterboxd I'm making, which is a list of where the whole cast dances and sings together, and it steals the show,
Nice.
or sings or dances. And there are a few movies that do that. After Yang, White Noise, some recent films, and this is one of them. Tropic Thunder too.
Oh, I feel like that's a movie I should revisit. I don't know.
Some of the movie hasn't aged well, but I still stand by that it's a really funny film.
Okay. Keep an eye out for it this year. If it comes up on the radar, I'll give it a watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty damn fun.
But thank you for joining us for the secret 13th night of Mamma Mia Miss, the whole Mamma Mia sandwich.
The bonus night.
Sharon, here we go again with me. Which I'm glad we did it. After I watched Mamma Mia for 12 times, because otherwise, if I watched this first and then I had to go watch those, I'd be spending the whole time comparing it to the better version here. So.
I'm glad I could gift the joy of Mamma Mia 2 into your life, and maybe you'll rewatch in the future. It's a pretty fun rewatch, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And you like musicals now. That's great to hear.
Yeah. I have to start figuring out what kind of musicals I like. I know definitely Cats is up there, and then this is up there, even though the first Mamma Mia not so much. But this one, yeah, this one's fun. So yeah, I just had to figure out what my taste in musicals is.
You should try the Beetlejuice soundtrack. I saw it on Broadway last week, and it was incredible. I'm still reeling from it.
Yeah, so there's an Addams Family musical. That sounds cool.
Oh, Addams Family musical is pretty good. Yeah, it's got some fun stuff in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got whole year to figure out which one we'll do next for at least the 12 days of musical miss. But that's all next year. Next year isn't for another 5 days. So still got
a
few days left in the year. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Dan. It's good to see you. Enjoy your trip. Stay safe out there. Safe travels. See you in person soon.
I'll be in Denver in 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And have a good night. Thanks for staying up. I know it's late for you. So
yeah, it is late.
Catch you later. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Thanks for talking burgers with us, Sparkles and DHG Nemo. And we'll get you all next week for the beginning of the Simpsons. All right, the 10 years of Simpsons matchups we're going to start doing. But good night, everybody.